Hello, parents. Welcome to the Masterful Parenting Podcast. I'm Ann Alvarez, parent coach, school counselor, and mother of two. Do you sometimes struggle with your parenting role? Do you notice that sometimes you're repeating patterns that you learned in your own childhood? Maybe you are carrying childhood pain that has not been healed, and you notice that it is showing up in your parenting with your own children. Perhaps you yell or get frustrated easily. Maybe you are directing them or telling them what to do all the time, and you notice that your actions are affecting your relationship with your children. Well, parents, I totally understand this. I came from childhood pain and I learned how to be a relational parent with my children. And I can teach this to you as well. This podcast is all about learning how to heal the childhood pain that we are carrying so that we can foster healthy relationships with our kids. Join us every week for a new show, and we will dive into the healing and the fostering of healthy relationships with our children. Hello, parents. Welcome to the Masterful Parenting Podcast and Show. I am super excited today because I have a special guest. His name is Russ Solomon. Russ Solomon is a parent wellness guide, board certified music therapist, and lifelong spiritual practitioner who helps heart centered parents of neurodivergent children transcend stress and overwhelm so they can show up in a strong and healthy space for their families. Welcome, Russ.
Thank you. Hello, and thank you so much for having me here, and hello to everybody.
Oh, I'm so happy to have you here. All right, I want you to tell parents what brought you to this work.
Sure, absolutely. So, I've actually always been drawn to helping people to connect, whether that's with themselves, with a sense of calm, um, with a deeper sense of presence that they can actually bring into all of their relationships. And so, as a board certified music therapist, and like you just mentioned, like a lifelong spiritual seeker, I spent a lot of years helping people to find peace and connection in music therapy through rhythm, and through things like Reiki, through practice, through presence, and through energy. And
Wow.
so one day, I teamed up with this music therapy studio that was just a beautiful place, and they provided music therapy for kids. And the owner was super kind to me and helped me kind of put together a program to offer support to their parents because we realized that parents, uh, of course, a lot of the parents in general, but parents of these particular children in their studio had a lot of stress. And so it felt like a natural next step for me to just kind of offer this to them. And what I saw through this was I realized how helping them, the parents themselves, to feel more calm and more in control made a huge impact on their family. It all kind of rippled down to their families because when we're in a healthy place as parents, of course, that radiates. And so
Yes.
I realized how how powerful it is when we as parents are feeling calm, when we're grounded and when we're clear. And so that ultimately led me to create the my company Intune Parents, um, and also realizing that their calmness is what allows them to, or their clarity, their emotional clarity is what allows them to tune into their own wisdom, their own inner wisdom. Um, I do believe that, we as parents, we know our kids basically better than anybody. But it's obviously it's very important to have helpful strategies, to get expert advice, and to have people help you with figuring out things you don't know and filling in gaps that you don't know. And on top of that, what I found is that those strategies land so much better when a parent is in the right internal space to use them, right? To with entire
Yes,
with clarity, with presence, with love. So it lands better, and then they can implement these ideas even more effectively. And so that's kind of
exactly.
what helped me get to where I am.
Wow, that's quite a journey. I love the music part. Because I don't know, music is so healing, right?
Absolutely.
Um, okay,
Absolutely.
so what are the four ways we handle emotions? I know you and I talked about this, but I wanted you to share this
Yeah.
with parents.
Yeah,
And why is
absolutely.
it important to know these four ways that we handle emotions.
Yeah, absolutely. So let me answer that why is important first, and then I'll tell you what that they are. So I think that obviously, knowledge is power, and to add to that, it's not only what you know, right? But it's also like what will you do with what you know? I think that's really where the power of knowledge comes in. You have
Yes.
information, so that's cool. So what are you going to do with it? What will you know? And so that's why it's important to know what I want to share with you now about how we handle feelings, because then you can do
Okay.
something about it, right?
Yeah.
So so there's four ways, like we said, and each of us always do all of these things all the time, and they're not always conscious. We don't always do them with awareness, but just to bring in some kind of perspective of how I see these things. So the first way is that we express our feelings. It's like we snap or we vent to our friends or we go online and whatever, we kind of make our feelings known, our emotions known. And that can be good. It can feel helpful for at least for a moment, but it doesn't actually solve whatever it was that made us, get that way in the first place, get upset in the first place. But it's a natural thing that we all do. The second thing is that we try to escape them. So again, we go online, we watch Netflix, whatever. There's a million ways that we can escape our feelings, or we try to numb them, we do whatever. And with that, it's really the same thing, that it doesn't really solve whatever got us there in the first place, whatever made us need to do that in the first place. The next thing we do is that we suppress our feelings, is that we push them down. We pretend that we're fine. We look away. It's kind of like holding them down because who wants to feel feelings that don't feel good, right? Nobody does. And that happens very quickly and very unconsciously. We get a feeling, we look away. And the problem here is that it takes a lot of energy to do that. And we can feel that in our bodies. We can feel aches and pains, or maybe we get some more colds or, like minor sicknesses that we don't normally get. But it kind of manifests in our bodies. We feel the tension in our shoulders and our muscles, and that's kind of a hint that we're holding on to a lot of stuff. And then the fourth way is actually the exact opposite of suppressing, which is to release them. And what that does, instead of holding on to our emotions, we let them go. And as a result, they lose their grip on us. And it's not really like stress management, but this is a way to actually get to the real thing, whatever is really causing that stress or that issue, and then eliminate it from there. So I talk about stress elimination, not stress management. I don't want to manage my stress. I want it gone. I want it to leave. And so
Yes.
this is a way to do that. Um, and so let me just give a quick example because I want to kind of make this a little more concrete because it is just as natural as suppressing and escaping and all that stuff. So as an example of the experience, maybe, I don't know if anyone here has ever been stuck in traffic, if that's ever happened, or maybe you're you're on a long line somewhere, waiting to pay for something. You have to be there. Like there's no other way it's going to go. Maybe you're frustrated, you're really stressed. It's like I got to get there, right? And so that's a moment of attention I think that we can all relate to. And then there's something that comes over you. There's a moment where you feel like it is what it is, but sometimes I don't like that saying. Sometimes it is what it is can be like I'm giving up and like it's not a positive thing. Whatever, I can't control it. That there's no power in that, but this kind of it is what it is. I mean, it becomes like completely okay. It's a surrender. It's like it feels good. It's like, okay, it is this way. It's going to be this way until it's not. And there's no say. You have no say over when the traffic's going to move or when you're going to pay and get out of the store, right? So that feeling of like when you feel that in your body that it is okay and there's a complete surrender to what is, that's the release. That's what that is. And so it's just total ease and like a relaxation in your body, in your emotions, even though the situation you're in did not change. Right.
Right.
So that's exactly what that is. So what I do is I teach parents a technique to do that whenever they want to, whenever there's an unwanted feeling so that it's not a subconscious thing that just happens sometimes or whenever it happens out in the wild, but it happens intentionally at their will when they want to, so that they can tap right into their presence, their calmness, their wisdom in the moments when their child really needs to feel the grace of their love and not their anger or frustration. Right. So when we talk about those ripple effects, this is the moment that they need you yourself to be in that calm space for them. All right. So
Exactly.
that's what
Exactly.
what that all is.
Yes. When they're struggling, we have to be regulated. We have to be the pillar of strength and care.
100%. And also, I always agree with you. I love what you have to say. Yes, we
Uh-huh.
do need to be regulated, and we do need to be that pillar of strength. And I think that we need a way to get there. I think so. That's where the
Yes.
knowledge is power. Is like, how do I do that? That's great. Like I know that it does not help my wife when I say like, you got to tell her you got to calm down. Like telling some upset person to calm down
No,
is like not the thing, right? It makes it
no.
worse usually for my wife. So.
Yes.
Um, it would make it worse for me too, of course. But how about giving somebody a way and then some support about how do you do it? Well, let me walk with you. Let me do this with you a few times so that you can do it yourself.
Okay. Okay. What if they need to vent about it first?
Yeah, it's all okay. There's no judgment. Of course,
Okay. Okay.
yeah. Well, I'm not saying don't do any of the. We all do all this stuff, including me,
Okay.
especially me. It's all okay. It's just that there's another possibility besides staying, um, let's say, stuck in struggle or stress, or there's
Yeah.
another way for those who are interested in how do I do this, that you can not have that stress. It's a decision and a choice and a little bit of a technique, but
Okay.
not much. It's
Okay.
easy.
Okay. So, okay, why do you think it's so important for us to be calm for our children?
Yeah, that's a great question because sometimes I use the word calm and peace sometimes interchangeably, and not everybody recognizes or realizes that they want to be calm or peaceful. Sometimes people thrive in more chaos, right?
Chaos.
Right.
Yeah.
All
Thriving
good.
chaos. Yeah.
It's all good. So for me, it is about what becomes possible when you're feeling the gracefulness and the possibilities of calm and peace rather than the turmoil of stress and overwhelm. It's what becomes
Yeah.
possible now. What can we see now that we couldn't see before, right?
Right.
Can you feel, or can you and your listeners feel the difference in the gracefulness of peace, right, versus the turmoil of stress,
Yes.
right?
Yeah. Because we can't think, I know like this is brain science, right? But we can't really think logically when we're in that height of emotion,
Absolutely.
right? And
Absolutely.
and same with our children. Same with our children.
For
We can't
sure.
rush them to problem solving when they're crying and upset, right?
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
connection first, right? Or as we say in music therapy, like frequency first, meet them where they are and connect with them. And
Yes.
then we can also modulate that. Music changes key, and that's exciting. It's beautiful when that happens. And we can modulate and change our feelings. And to do that with intention, with purpose, with awareness, compassion, all that stuff. This is why being calm for our children is so important. Because the way we show up also affects them. And
Yes.
we also could be role models, right? We could be. We are role models for our kids,
Yes.
right? What
Yes,
do you,
we
what do you want to
are.
show them about that? Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. Okay, so you said you teach parents this method, but are there other things that you help parents with?
This is yes. And so the first thing that I like to do is teach them this, right? There's sort of like a two-part kind of strategy to how I do this. One is I help them to learn this technique of releasing and letting go so that at first they can themselves be able to be calm and centered and peaceful and so forth, or let go of things that any unwanted feeling really, right? And then help them get into that place where they're either automatically doing it or they remember to do it pretty quickly when things come up. And so to get them, let's say, into like a healthier space for themselves, healthy emotional space for themselves. Then the next
Okay.
part is how do we now take your new self or whatever, and however you say that, your this healthier version of you, this more consistent version of showing up with peace,
Yes.
and apply that to help your children. And so
Okay.
that's we look at how this all relates. And so while I don't give specific parenting advice on that,
Yes.
they um, uncover what they can now do with it being in that more centered place. And then also, again, showing up in that way certainly affects how their kids behave, how they feel about themselves, how they see the world at all. It's all connected, right?
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So when parents are more relaxed and calm, in this state of peace, because you've shown them how they can get there, right? From here to here.
Sure. Mhm.
Um, so then they can actually tap into their children, right? Like, what
Yeah.
are the needs of my child right now? Or what does my child need from me right now? right? Is
Absolutely.
that what you're saying? Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. That's it. Well, just think about whenever you're stressed out or angry or upset or whatever you're feeling. Have you ever noticed how that clouds your judgment, your thinking, or you're not thinking about like, hey, what's possible from here? It's not a positive state to be in when you're angry or stressed out. But if
Hmm.
we remove all that, so that that's how that gives you clarity, is that you're no longer clouded by your own feelings, your own frustration, and not thinking clearly, not being able to make a decision or whatever. And there is where you can be centered and also very present, very, very available right now. And obviously, from that space, it's more obvious to like, what does my child need from me right now? That's going to be
Yes.
more available to you. That answer will be
Okay.
more available to you. That's what I mean by their own wisdom. We know these things as
Right.
parents, right? And with the help of experts, of course. Um,
Like intuitively, if you're not clouded by your emotions, then intuitively, that your child needs to talk or your child needs
mhm.
a hug or whatever, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Whatever, if you sort of I don't know if this is the right way to say it, but like if you can get out of your own way in a sense, right?
Yeah.
And then the answer will present itself. It will show itself to you because you do know, you as a parent, you do know.
Okay. Do you uncover like why do we get there? Why do we get so upset and so angry at what our
Yeah,
kids are doing or saying?
I love that question. I love that question. And
It
I
just
want to
came
give
to
an
me. I
answer.
was like, why?
Yeah, yeah, and I want to give my so I've answered this a lot of times, and I really want you to know that I say this with just a lot of respect,
Okay.
okay? Because it's a little
Okay.
bit of a di different answer.
Okay.
The reason why we get mad or stressed out or whatever, right, in my work, in the work that I do, actually doesn't matter
Okay.
because we're feeling it now. Whatever is there,
Right.
we're feeling it now. And so with this releasing work, we work with what is there right now, what's there in the moment, because that's all we're just here now, right? I mean, there's no we're not in yesterday or tomorrow. We're here now. So the reason why doesn't is not so relevant because it's here now, and the relevant choice is, would you like to hold on to it and continue as you are, or would you like to let it go? And
Okay.
that's what so it does matter in a therapy point of view, in psychology and so forth, and in the therapeutic relationship, it's we do talk about why and stuff like that.
Okay.
It does matter. So I'm not discounting that at all, but in this work, it's not really relevant because it's more of like, what do you want to do now that it's here? To just
Okay.
to be blunt.
But it might take longer for some parents than others to release and let go. Like some might want to
Mhm.
hang on to, I'm really upset because he disrespected me,
Of
right?
course. Of course.
Yeah.
So that's the beautiful thing with this process. It's always a choice every time. So I've been doing this since I was 9, right?
Okay.
And I don't always do it every single time I get upset, angry, stressed out, or whatever at my kid or my life. I don't always do it, but I know it's a choice and I can
Okay.
do it if I want to or not. But what we
Okay.
come to see after doing it for a while is that you certainly can hold on to whatever you want to. You never let go of something by accident, right? It's always, you don't need whatever you let go of. You
Right.
can, but when you do this for a while, you start to realize, you start to feel in your body that it's so much better to be free of that, right? So
Yes.
much better to not
It
have that,
feels
but
better.
it does. But it's a choice. You don't have to. There's been many times where I'm like, I'm just going to stay this way right now.
Yeah. I
That's
need to
it.
be mad.
Yeah, great. Yeah, it's okay. It really is.
Yeah.
All of it is okay. All feelings, all reactions, all everything that we do with them is all okay. And
That's what
so
I say. Yeah.
the message that I'd love to share is like there can be so much freedom in allowing yourself to be as you are, whatever
Right.
that is. Just be as you are until you're not that way, and then you'll be some other way, right? Right.
Right.
And
Okay.
sometimes
So,
people would like that help to move a little faster with that.
okay. I want to tap into your parenting with your
Sure.
son, who is neurodivergent, right?
Yes.
Okay. And so with your son, has
Mhm.
this release, let go helped you to really figure out what he needs, you
Oh
know?
yeah, all the time. Yeah, and so he knows this
Okay.
technique also, and he's been using it since he
He does
was
this.
fairly
You taught
fairly
him.
young. Oh yeah, sure.
That's so
My
good.
whole family knows it. My dad taught me. So,
Oh,
so yeah,
fantastic.
yeah, it's
Okay,
beautiful. Yeah.
and what do you want, like parents, from your own experience, what do you want parents to know about having a child who is neurodivergent?
I think it's really, really important to give yourself as much grace and as much love as you show your child. I think
Mm,
that that's just it's so important. It's not going to be easy all the time. There's going to be great moments of joy and wonder and things that you never thought would happen, and it's like better than you ever imagined, right? And then there's also going to be moments of like incredible hardship and concern and
mm,
worry about the future, right? So
yeah,
with that also, when we so this process, I know we're kind of just talking like sort of in a preliminary way, but this process
yeah,
of letting go and getting clear and tapping your own wisdom is not just about feeling better in the moment, but it can also help us to make decisions and take actions that are going to affect the future. So
yes,
that's an important thing. It's when we think about the future, especially the very big question of, what will happen when I'm no longer able to care for my child, right? What's going to happen to them?
hmm,
That's a massive, important question that causes a lot of stress for a lot of parents. And
yes,
obviously for very good, obvious reasons. So sure.
yeah,
And so there are answers to that. I don't have an answer for that. However, what if you can get into a place where you are taking actions and you're setting up their future, actually doing stuff to handle their future? When you are acting from a place, again, of calmness, of clarity, of seeing your wisdom, seeing what's best for your child, rather than being in that reactive, stressed out, crazy state of like, I don't know. It's so much easier when you
yeah,
proceed with that, when you're also calm and clear thinking.
yeah,
So,
yeah, totally makes sense. Wow,
sure.
that was good advice. I really liked that one.
Great.
That's really, really good. I think a lot of parents need to hear that. Give yourself grace.
Yeah.
You
And
know?
look, you're going to make mistakes. You asked me about my parenting with my son. I've made a lot of mistakes.
Yeah,
Before I realized what was going on with him as far as ADHD and dyslexia and so forth. I
yeah,
wasn't ever mean or hard to him, but
yeah,
when he was in his younger life a student, he's 16 now, but when he was in elementary school, I didn't know this about him. And so he would struggle with his homework or just starting his homework. And I'd be like, it's okay. Let's do it. Let's just take out your notebook. And me just telling him to take out his notebook, would make him angry. He's like, I know, Dad, I know
yes,
what to do. And like, so me just telling him that didn't help him and angered
yeah,
him. Right.
yeah,
So, and that upset me because I'm like, oh, I'm just trying to help you. And so this whole thing, right. And
yes, this whole
so
cycle.
if I could, in those moments, just let go and release. Okay, so what does he need from me right now? He needs me to
Yeah,
shut up. He needs me to back off
yeah,
because he knows what to do. Like, okay, and I wouldn't
yeah,
think that when I'm like stressed. Well, just take it out. Where's your pencil? Get your computer. Like, that's just way too
yeah,
much. Way too much. So
yeah. I think that is so good. I made a lot of mistakes with my first one too. I always tell my second one, he's so lucky.
that's why we have to start with the second one. We know
Exactly,
better. We know
exactly.
better then. But
Oh my
yeah,
God.
give yourself the grace. You're going to make mistakes and do your best. You learn. You don't if you make a mistake and it doesn't feel right, you want to beat yourself up and feel worse, or would you like to move along and do it in a more peaceful way, more conscious way?
I know. I know I quote Maya Angelou a lot, but she has a saying. She says, "You did then what you knew, and now that you know better, you can do better."
Yeah,
Right? Like
absolutely.
it's so powerful because we do have to stop beating ourselves up for the past
Yeah,
because we're in this constant journey of learning and growing,
for sure.
right? Especially in
Absolutely.
parenting, you're learning and growing because our kids go through the ups and downs of life just like we do, and we have to ride those waves with them,
Right.
right?
And you've never done it before, right? I mean,
And
however,
you've never done it before.
yeah, you're however old your oldest child is, like that's how long you've been, you do live and you do learn. And so give yourself,
Yeah.
be patient with you also
Yes.
and
Yes.
learn. And just like Maya Angelou said, for sure. Yeah.
No, I love it. I love it. Oh, thank you, Russ. That was so good. Okay. Can
My
you
pleasure.
share with parents how they can find you? And I know you have a course, right?
I
On
do. Yeah.
teaching this release and let go process.
Yes. So the best place to reach me is through my website, which is raisingspecialneedskids.com. I know there'll be a link for that.
Yeah.
And on that website is going to kind of basically show you everything here. You'll be able to, I have a master class there. It's very short. It's about 26 minutes. That talks about more of like what we've been saying here, but goes a little bit deeper in terms of what's possible when you get in tune with yourself, which is when your energies and your thoughts, feelings, emotions are all in alignment together. That's what I call in tune with yourself.
Great.
And then how all of that can help to shape your family dynamic. And then if all of that resonates with you, if you like what you read on the website, then I offer a free 15 minute, what I call a parent wellness assessment. And it's just really a relaxed conversation to for me to kind of just hear what's going on in your life to help you feel more centered and calm and talk about what's possible from there. So I do offer a course, but I don't go right to that immediately. I like to just allow people like, please watch the webinar if this is interesting to you. It will resonate
Yeah.
with you or not. And then we'll take it from there. If it seems like a good fit and a natural step, then we go for the course. But that's not the thing that I push right
Yeah.
away.
That
Or
you
I don't.
start with.
Yeah, I never
Okay.
push it. But yeah, just let's
Okay.
connect and talk.
Okay. I will provide the links, parents, on the show notes, so you will be able to find Russ Solomon. All right.
Thanks.
I like to do a little recap, Russ. Sorry. I just always
Sure.
like to do this for
Yeah.
parents. Okay. So Russ talked about, well, he talked about how we have four reactions to our emotions. One of them is expressing them, venting. The other one is escaping. The other one is suppressing, which can be very damaging. And then what he likes to teach parents is to the release and let go so that you can tap into your inner wisdom when you are helping your children. And he also gave us some really, really, really good advice about giving ourselves grace because it's not perfect. Life is not perfect. We're going to make mistakes, and we have to give ourselves grace, forgive ourselves, and learn and keep growing. Did I sum that up good?
That sounds beautiful. Yeah, thank you. Wow. Sounds great.
Okay. Thank you so much, Russ.
Oh,
And
thank you for having me.
thank you for coming. And thank you, parents, for joining today. I hope this gave you a lot of great tips. Take care. We'll see you next time.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, parents, for joining the show today. I hope it was valuable and that you have some useful tools to use with your children. If this show blessed you or changed you in any way, I would appreciate a review on my podcast, or subscribe to my YouTube channel, or perhaps you could even recommend our masterful parenting to your family and friends. Thank you so much, parents.